life is going to happen and the timing's probably never going to be perfect. But I do know that if I did spend more time doing some more mental health work and not using food to help regulate my emotions, I probably would have been more successful with the beginning stages of my relationship dialing in nutrition. Have you ever been frustrated with yourself because you feel like you went to do something and you did the thing you wanted to do, but then you just like kind of fell off track and it was like, fuck, I guess I need to start over again? Your start over is not really a start over again because you now have more information, you have more experience than you did the first time. When I initially got started dialing in nutrition with Hillary Irvin, registered dietitian, back in 2021, I remember the first time I did a cut with her. I just like didn't really understand everything that I needed to maintain in order for things to stay the way we got them to. So for example, I had gained 20 pounds of COVID weight and I wanted to lose the weight. So I lost the weight. And after my diet phase, I wasn't very good at continuing to come out of that diet phase and maintain the habits that I initially was working on to get there. So yes, I understood I got to eat the protein, I got to maintain eating protein, I need to slowly increase my calories, and I was doing that with the help of Hillary, but I had achieved my goal, which was this weight loss goal, right? And I noticed the weight was just kind of like coming back on, and it was because there were other things going on in life, some stressors where I was turning to food and I was eating out of emotion. Like I would go into the pantry at night and I would grab a handful of nuts, or I would grab a handful of candy, or I would grab a handful of chips. And when you do something like that, you know, a handful, two handfuls, three handfuls, it might not seem like a whole lot, but if you're doing that again and again, day after day, the calories, they do add up. You know, and calories don't have emotion. It's just the way it works. You know, if you eat more, you are going to, and let me be clear, not eating more in volume, but if you are eating more calories and you are putting yourself into a calorie surplus, yes, you are going to gain weight. And I remember when this happened, I was so frustrated with myself because I was like, hey, I worked so hard for X amount of months. I thought I was going to have this forever. And then I realized that, you know what, I actually don't have the healthy habits set in place, not in regards to nutrition, but in regards to regulating emotion through food. That was something I really needed to work on. But it required me to adopt some new healthy emotional habits so that I wasn't going to food to help soothe myself. And that required doing some work in therapy, that required doing some work via EMDR, which is a therapeutic technique to help rewire the brain. And it required just like taking inventory. And it's something that I am continuing to work on. You know, there are days where I literally I go into my pantry and I scan looking for food, and I have to ask myself, do you want this because you actually want this, or do you want this because you are avoiding something or because you are upset? And, you know, if it's something that I want it, I'm hungry and it can fit my macros, then yeah, I'm gonna get it. But in those moments where it's like, no, I think I'm doing this out of avoidance, or I'm doing this because I'm upset, I have to take responsibility to get my ass out of the pantry and go to my journal, or go to a walk, or seeing if Tim is available so I can talk it out. But turning to food to help you emotionally regulate is terrible. And it's something that I have had to really take the time to work on, and I feel so much stronger than I ever have because of it. And, another example is I got a guitar for my 30th birthday, and I have taken chunks of time over the last 2.5 years to sit down and work on the guitar. And I can confidently tell you that I still cannot play a single song. And it's because I keep starting. Are you ready to start building strength, but feel overwhelmed by complicated workouts and influencers on social media? Foundations is your answer. If you're new to strength training and want a simple, effective way to get stronger, build muscle, and drop body fat, Foundations was designed just for you. What you'll need to get started are just 3 kettlebells. That's it. These 3 kettlebells are all you need to unlock your strength, start building muscle, and start seeing real results. There's no fancy moves, no complicated routines, just the basics that will help you to progress safely and confidently. What you'll get when you join: simple, proven exercises where you will master foundational movements like squats, deadlifts, and presses that will give you strength and confidence. A progressive training program, step-by-step video and written guidance to help you improve no matter where you are starting from. A safe, effective training routine. You'll get to focus on form and build a body that's strong from the inside out. And the best part, it's DIY. You can start right away, no waiting around. You just buy the program today and you get to start building strength from the comfort of your home. You don't need to be fancy to get strong. You just need a solid foundation and the right approach. Foundations is perfect for the woman who is new to strength training and wants to take it at her own pace. She wants to feel empowered, she wants to feel strong, and she wants to feel more confident in her body. If you're ready to begin, visit www.colleenconlon.com for more details and grab your Foundations program today. Again, all you need are 3 kettlebells. I'll take care of the rest. And then, something happens, and unfortunately, the guitar is just not a top priority of mine right now. So whatever the priority is comes up, and then that's where I go and I spend my time and I focus my energy. But what I can tell you is every time I come back to the guitar, because I think I've started the guitar and then paused the guitar over the last 2.5 years, probably about 4 times. And it's still on my list. I'm just I want to learn how to play the guitar. I have a goal. I would really like to be able to play a song and be able to sing a song and do it in my backyard with the fire going under the moon and just have a moment for myself. I dream of this. And I know at some point this will be mine, but I have to make it a priority. And every time I sit down to work on this again, I know a little bit more than I did the first time. The first time I had no fucking idea what I was doing. I didn't know where to put my hands. I didn't know a G string. I didn't know how to tune my guitar. And each time I have to kind of go back to the beginning to relearn, but I'm able to progress so much quicker because, I'm not completely new, day one new. I'm new, but I still know more than somebody who is picking it up for the very first time. And it's the same thing in terms of, a fat loss goal. In terms of, if you have hit a goal weight and then you gain the weight back, it's you can do it again, but now we just have other things that we need to focus in on, okay? Maybe you've been able to do everything for the goal weight. Maybe you haven't been able to maintain it. So the next thing that we need to work on is, those healthy habits to help you maintain it, like not using food to regulate your emotions. And let's see, I've worked with Hillary, it's 2021 to 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025. Okay. All right. We're going on 4 years. I would say it took 3 years to really feel fucking good about all of the work that I do with her, in terms of feeling like I can trust myself and I can trust that I'm not using food to aid in my emotional regulation. And I'm bringing all this up to you because I want you to understand that if you start something and maybe you don't finish it the way you wanted to finish it, it's okay. You can try again. You know, there's not a limit to how many times you can try. And sometimes you crush it on the first pass. And sometimes you crush it on the first pass because you're just so hungry for it. You're so tuned in. You're so dialed in. And you have all of these habits, you know, helping you. And you really care about it. And other times, you know, life is happening around you. And maybe this timing isn't great, but you can try again. And I don't want to use that as an excuse, like, you got to wait till the timing is perfect, because listen, life is going to happen and the timing's probably never going to be perfect. But I do know that if I did spend more time doing some more mental health work and not using food to help regulate my emotions, I probably would have been more successful with the beginning stages of my relationship dialing in nutrition. But, you know, that wasn't the case. And I think it's super common that for a lot of us, we are kind of learning as we go. You know, there's no manual that when you become a grown-up, you know how everything moves and grooves. So much of it is us figuring stuff out on the fly. And I just want to remind you that if you start something, you start strength training, you start a kettlebell program, and it doesn't go down the way you were hoping it would go down, but you still feel called to do it, you can try again. And that goes for anything. So something that I really do believe is if you can't stop thinking about something, it's for you. That's why we're not all professional breakdance fighters, because that's not something that everybody is constantly thinking about. You know, there is a handful of people, they do that, but it's not all of us. If you dream of having a strong, lean body, if you dream of being a kettlebell queen, if you dream of being a professional breakdance fighter, you know, this stuff can happen for you. And if you try and it feels kind of like you know, you didn't get out of it exactly what you wanted to, because maybe you weren't at a place where you could fully immerse yourself, or maybe because it wasn't the top priority and compared to everything else going on, it's okay. You can try again. So this is where I want to leave you. If you know that there is something that you've tried and it kind of feels like you missed the boat, but you really want to try again, you owe it to yourself. Try again. Because I want you to hear me on this. Are you listening? Your past and your present do not define your potential. Thanks for tuning in. If this episode hit home, don't forget to leave a rating and review. Women are stronger together. So share this with a woman who you want to see rise. When we embrace positive takeaways, we level up, and when we share them, we change the world. Follow us on Instagram at The Dangerous Women Podcast and let us know what you want to hear next. And remember, dangerous women redefine wellness and the world. So be fierce, be authentic, be dangerous.